Okay, so here we go. Here's the I will first give you brilliancies of great legend Alexander Alekhine. Although we checked two of his short and swift wins in the intro, I just wanted to give you some kind of a short preview what you're going to see throughout the course. But of course, these games which I'm going to present will be a more challenging, more more high quality. And I will be presenting several, as I said, legendary players. Last one will be one of my favorites, Aronian, one of the legends of young, let's say, this modern generation. And I really appreciate his playing style. He always seeks to fight for initiative, always wants to outplay his opponent, almost always plays for win. Aronian is an amazing player, and that's why I will be also, toward the end of this course, I will be presenting some of his brilliant games. But first I would like to present some brilliancies from classical heritage, Alekhine, and then it will be Keres, Bronstein, and so on. So also it should be interesting for younger generations who are not maybe so much familiar with that classical heritage. And believe me, you can never go wrong with regarding work on those classical games. Okay, so let's go. As I said, Alekhine was playing almost all openings. His understanding of chess opening was something similar to Kasparov, who also had very wide opening repertoire. He played almost every opening, and opening was basically his tool to try to get some edge over his opponent if he can, and also maybe to already overtake some initiative in the early middle game. Fischer also had similar style, although his opening repertoire was not so wide because he was playing very often, not always, but very often, King's Indian with black pieces, although he has some very notable wins in Nimzo Indian and some other openings, Creamfield Indian as well. And with black pieces, he also almost exclusively played against e4, Najdorf, Sicilian, and he liked to principally go for this poison pawn, a queen b2 line, which he almost always played if allowed. Okay, let's see what happened here. We have the game Alekhine Duras from 1913. St. Petersburg tournament, knight f3, knight e6, and we have a Spanish game on the board, a6, bishop a4, knight f6, queen e2, b5, bishop b3, bishop c5. Okay. First of all, queen e2 move is like a rare move, but okay, as I said, more than 100 years ago, opening theory was not even closely developed like it is today. But I guess that, okay, this Duras was a famous player for that time, but Alekhine obviously was much stronger, so he just probably played for his opponent. He played against the opponent. Just queen e2 to play some sideline and maybe a little bit surprise his opponent. b5 is played, bishop b3, bishop c5, and a4. a4 is standard in many Spanish positions. Here I can't say it's bad. It's almost always, move a4 is almost always useful in Spanish. Maybe here move c3 would be like normal, and then d3 and so on, but a4, okay. Rook b8, and now ab. Probably Alekhine somehow Maybe he was anticipating this. Maybe he saw some games of Duras from before. How he could do that? He probably he saw some tournament bulletin or some chess magazines and so on. But that was the way to prepare back in those days. And even much later, even in times of 60s, 70s, and 80s, 90s, 60s, 70s, and 80s, back in 20th century, people were preparing like that. And so he has a file opened, and now he just plays d3 move. Just, okay, no rush, just he wants to have a game. d6, and position should be fine for black. I mean, white obviously didn't achieve, well, let's say almost there's nothing for white out of the opening. He goes bishop e3, and it seems to me that black can even take, and he has decent position. I mean, just castle next move, and black is doing fine. But we all know Alekhine, he could work out something, maybe take fe3 probably. Then already there is semi-open f-file, there is some pressure on the diagonal. And I mean, being Alekhine was already intimidating for his opponents. So, okay, bishop g4, why not? I mean, this is principled play. I mean, black wants to make use of the, this chance to maybe generate some counterplay, using d4 square. And of course, white can play c3 move just to, control d4, and position is roughly unclear. Then, black can work with b4 push, and okay, white doesn't have anything special. So you might ask, but what is this? I mean, queen e2 obviously is not very ambitious. Alekhine didn't achieve, I don't want to say anything, but yeah, basically, yeah, there is almost nothing for white. But this is, Spanish opening, and here you have chance to play your opponent with both pieces, with both colors, white and black, and this is basically a position which, in Spanish opening you have usually a rich play, which means that you have a lot of opportunities to outplay your opponent. And now, okay, knight bd2, castle, castle, and from seemingly completely normal position, now we are going into something. Okay, you'll see what happens then. Next, I mean, black can simply play queen e7 and say I'm quite satisfied with my position, with myself, and black is fine. Position is unclear. But Duras decides to jump. And okay, we could see something similar in modern practice. I mean, people play this in modern practice as well. These jumps on d4, and this is nothing new for us. Yes, and Alekhine was, I guess, for that time, maybe he was also going a little bit hyper modern way, which means. It was like a modern approach or hyper modern approach, just giving up bishop for knight so early in the game. So basically we already transposed to middle game. We have middle game on the board, we have both kings in castle, we have all pieces developed. Black just needs to develop his queen, but okay, it will be done very soon. Now black is probably hesitating to allow something like this, which would bring a huge headache to black. I mean, f5 is the threat, and how to ever play with this bishop. I mean, okay, black can play h6 and something, but bishop will be buried after f5. this would be totally wrong for black. e4 is also probably problematic. White can do similar thing and also try to go for f4 push. Now you can see the difference. Now bishop on c5 is not very relevant, and white can jump with those knights. Not to mention that this bishop is perfectly placed on this diagonal. So as I said, this is patient play from Alekhine. You see that he doesn't go for some scintillating attack, or he doesn't try to break his opponent in 15-20 moves. Okay, so black here goes first for bishop f3. Okay, now white has to take, and now black goes e4. Black didn't want to allow something like this, I guess. And white would be, I mean, this looks like some nice initiative for white. You might even say light initiative. Yeah, maybe this is something like a light initiative, if you want to put it that way. Maybe. What is the idea? Idea is that white wants to make use of this diagonal a2 g8. This bishop on b3 will be very annoying for black. F7 square will be under some pressure, and white is going to aim to try to open this f file maybe at some point. And if he manages to do so, I mean, black will be, let's say, e5 takes, f takes e5. This could be very, very a pleasant play for white, and also vice versa for black. This could mean some headache. So, okay, black can try to go knight d7, knight c5, but that's a long way, and I mean, later on white can maybe even push b4, so that's not so simple. So I guess that black was not very happy. And even, I mean, even this, maybe white can simply go queen f2 at some point, forcing black to maybe go push c5, and then there is no knight on c5. So black goes e4, and you can, you know, think about this position. Try to look at this position for a while, for a moment or two, and think about this, how this looks. I mean, this is one of those games which shows how amazing player was Alekhine, how strong, how dangerous. Because, you know, from this seemingly simple, harmless looking position, he very quickly manages to seize the initiative. And well, I mean, I'm not saying that there is some mating attack, but basically white is putting a lot of pressure on his opponent very quickly in this game. You might try to find what is next, what's coming next. What we have for now on the board, we have very good this light squared bishop, Spanish bishop, and usually this bishop is source of all kinds of troubles for black in Spanish opening. And at the same time, this, you know, black bishop, dark squared bishop, is not very, you know, not very happy, not very active. So from that, yeah, from that standpoint, probably black should have taken with bishop on d4, not allowing this. And of course, this knight, you know, this knight is ready to jump. If you imagine this knight on f5, already there, I mean, black could be in trouble. So how to start here? Well, why not d5? Look, when you have a move like this, you should really consider a move like this, if you can. Here, black has some options. I mean, he can definitely try and take on e5, which looks like a viable move, or he can try to maybe play rook e8. In the game, black played queen e7, which looks also like some decent move, yes. Oh, what else was there? He could have tried d5, but then after queen e5, bishop is hanging, and playing bishop d6 is losing the pawn. Bishop e7 doesn't help. Queen e7 doesn't help. Bishop b6 doesn't help. Yes. So yeah, this looks a little bit, at least a little bit unpleasant. And this bishop is now still open, and this is maybe knight d7. I don't know. It looks annoying, to be honest with you. It looks annoying. Maybe queen d5 is the move. This pawn is still hanging. How to defend this pawn? This is not so clear. So maybe just now black is just losing the pawn. He can't move this knight. Bishop on c5 is hanging. So it was quite unpleasant. So maybe black would be forced to play queen d6, but after this, well, I'm not sure that many players would like such structure. Just to mention to you, in passing, that Alekhine was tremendously strong in technical endgames. Tremendously strong. And when you check those games from his famous match against Capablanca from Buenos Aires, when he became world champion, Alekhine beat Capablanca with his own weapons. Basically, he outplayed him in technical phases of the game. So don't be fooled by introductory two games from Alekhine, where he displayed all of his tactical prowess, his amazing combination tactical abilities. But he was also amazingly strong in endgames and in technical play. So it's no wonder that Duras really didn't want to go into this position. This looks really ugly. I mean, nobody would like to play this. There are 3 pawns like targets. Black has double pawns and isolated pawns, so I think that Alekhine would enjoy playing this. So that's why queen e7. Also, there is move rook e8, which is possible, but then e6. Threatening ef7, you might argue why not just to move the king, but where to move the king, then this white wins, yeah? So black would probably have to take check. Again, king h8, knight g5 might be just winning for white. King f8, but then b4 is quite interesting. A problem is that if bishop b6, just rook e1, white has huge initiative, and it doesn't have to be just a mating attack, but you can see that somehow there are some attacking ideas, and well, Alekhine was just amazingly strong, and he could very easily combine those threats. Maybe he's threatening to attack the opponent's king, and then something else happens and he just wins the pawn, and he's happy to win the technical endgame with pawn up. Also here, if black tries bishop b4, knight d4, position is really dangerous. Knight c6 is the threat. What to do? What to play? Maybe this, queen f3, threatening knight c6 probably. Knight e6, queen doesn't have any squares. He has to take, and rook a1. And okay, in this position, white is just pressing. I mean, rook e6 doesn't work because of rook a8. So white is pressing, and pawn b5 is probably going to fall. And also there are other problems for black. His king on f8 is cut off, and yeah, this is basically problematic position for black. Maybe he could have tried this, but this looks... yeah, this looks very passive, to be honest with you. So black went for queen e7, and now Alekhine does simple rook e1. So what happened here? Alekhine didn't hesitate, I guess, didn't hesitate at all. Maybe he was just checking some variations here before going for e5 to overtake initiative. So just e5, going for it, and he's... well, basically you can feel that white is dictating here, and black is just trying to somehow parry the threats, and maybe okay, black is basically fighting to equalize. Rook e1, rook e8, rook b e8. Okay, why not rook f e8? Probably, you know, knight g5 is very annoying threat, so black has to be careful about knight g5 moves. Also, I mean, now obviously there is threat to take, so he plays this, and now he's hoping that he can take on e5. Now you can again try to think, try to find what is good idea for white, how to do the most damage to black. Maybe also black is threatening on a good day move like bishop b4, because now there are no threats connected with knight c6. So maybe black would like to go bishop b4, and then if rook moves, then take on e5 and he's pawn up. Even such position is not easy for black, but maybe that's the idea. So white plays queen d2. Okay. Now already there is not much to I mean, black can't wait. I mean, he has to take. What else? I mean, maybe e6 is even the threat. If something like this happens, well, this would be pretty annoying and probably winning for white. So d5, a rook takes, not knight takes. I mean, Alekhine could try this, but maybe this is possible. No, c3 here. Okay, so here black would have to probably move the queen, and position is well, this looks also bad. Knight f7. Oh, knight f7 takes with the rook. Okay, so this might be playable. Still a little bit annoying for black, because this bishop is obviously better than bishop on c5. Okay, there is some idea, maybe bishop b4, but white already also here has some pressure. But white takes with the rook, and I mean, this is showing initiative. We have seemingly a normal position, I mean normal looking position, with almost a symmetrical pawn structure. I'm saying almost because it's not. Okay, three pawns, fgh, fgh on the king's side, and on the queen's side bc and d pawns. But this pawn is far from well placed, because this bishop on c5 is just limited by it. Okay, so rook e5, queen is hanging, black has to do something, he goes queen d6, and now, okay, I mean, you might ask what to do now, take on e8, but okay, if white takes on e8, rook e8, and I mean, it looks equalish, maybe. Doubling on e5 doesn't bring much, but I guess all this was planned by Alekhine before he pushed e5. So I think, to be honest with you, I think that in this position Alekhine had in mind what is coming. So he was probably calculating here several moves ahead. e5, this, that's one move, 2 moves, 3 moves, 4 moves. So Alekhine was calculating all this, and he probably prepared in advance this. So 5 moves calculation. Queen g5, and Alekhine had well, he estimated basically that here he is just pushing. Yeah, this is just serious initiative. Black is under pressure. What to do? I mean, he doesn't have to really take on e5, because we'll see what happens in the game when he took. He doesn't have to take on e5, but what to do? I mean, he can push h6, but then queen f5. It's quite unpleasant. And not to mention that, well, this is just in passing, that, you know, bishop is hanging, pawn is hanging, so basically, yeah, black doesn't have too much choice, he has to take. But then knight takes. Yeah, knight takes, and this is just very dangerous stuff. I mean, knight and bishop are pressing. Black is under heavy pressure here. I mean, it's not easy to be smart for black here. What to do? If he tries and also in some lines, just a simple pawn on b5 is hanging. And how this pawn on b5 happened to be a target, if you remember out of the opening, Alekhine just played a4 and took on b5. Very nice. So here, if black tries something like knight d7, well, probably even simple knight d7 and taking with c5 is simple, yeah. But also this wins. So black tries queen b6 move, just trying to survive, but yeah, this is not easy, because now white has very serious pressure. Okay, taking on f7 is still not working, because knight f7 to rook takes. Well, let me show you this. Maybe rook 8 check, bishop f8, and black looks like he's okay. Yeah. So here we have a typical Alekhine move. White has some pressure, and now you need to find how to continue. And I'm sure that many players, even some titled players, would easily lose. Let's say the thread of the game would. I don't want to say lose the game, but would easily go wrong. Or maybe even some people would just admit, okay, I'm stuck, I don't have direct threats, I don't know what to do. And what Alekhine does? g4. What's the point of g4 move? Probably idea is simply to play at some point knight f7, and then maybe so there's constant pressure, and then maybe something like this, queen f5 or queen f4, and then g5, something along those lines. Because white knows, Alekhine knows that after knight f7, rook f7, black can't easily unpin himself. So g4, very interesting. The problem for black is that if he tries some h6 move, then well, something like that, that's the problem. And how to defend an f7? Well, it's not possible. So black is in trouble. g6 is also problematic here. Yeah. Again, now white has idea to probably push g5, then take on f7, and maybe also take on h7. Yeah, so different ideas here. Pushing, yes. And if bishop e7 move, then maybe this. Just take. And okay, I mean, knight is hanging, what to do? Just to remind you, if black plays obviously a looking move like knight f6 or even knight c5, then just this white mates. Just out of the blue, maybe white mates, so maybe queen d6, but then, okay, again, terrible pawn structure. Again, bishop is stronger than this guy. Okay, knight c5 might be coming, but that's not enough. Rook a5 or this just wins material, and white should be technically winning here. He wins the pawn, at least one pawn, and then the rest should be relatively easy for you know, a champion like Alekhine. So bishop d6 was played in desperate try to exchange this fellow here. Well, white was in full swing, and I think he probably even anticipated this when he pushed g4, because otherwise this could be something like a good idea for black. I mean, if he manages to exchange on e5, he could be even okay in this position. But now what comes? Just takes. Just take on f7, and black is busted. I mean, he has no choice. He has to take. So he takes, and now queen f5. After this, there is simple threat of g5. There is another threat of this. There is a threat of check. Black is busted. Just like that. What do you think about this amazingly simple play, but yet so effective play by Alekhine? Okay, black can try to somehow defend with queen c6, not allowing rook a8. But then, if nothing else, just g5. As I said, that's the point. That's why Alekhine played g4. To have g5, and here he is winning material. Let's say this, just take, and just, you know, move back the queen and just say, well, that's it, you are done. White wins this technically winning position. There is not much to be done. So that's why here, after knight f7, rook f7, queen f5, black tries g6, hoping for probably queen c8. But I mean, I don't have to ask you to pause the video too much. I mean, you can see this easily. Queen e6, quite evident and simple move. Check. Bishop a6, black resigned. Powerful display by Alekhine. Of course, not queen f6, if you're wondering why. I mean, last trick, check, black wins the queen. But bishop e6, and now there is no salvation. I mean, what is the threat? Well, probably the threat, one threat could be this, another threat simply to take the knight. Black is also exchanged down, exchanging pawn down, and white has mating attack. So sometimes these positions with crushing initiative could end in mating attack, but I'm saying not always, because initiative is not only about mating attack, it is about positional pressure, about advantage. So when you have initiative, basically you have edge, you have advantage. Just to remind you a little bit what happened in this game. In this seemingly normal looking position, e5 happens, but this is connected with very good calculation. So you should be able to do these things. I'm sure that many people would just simply miss e5, but if you miss e5, position would fizzle out in some equal equalish position. Maybe then black has enough time to go knight d7, regroup a little bit, and just, or we can say consolidate and just equalize. That's why it's important not to miss those moves, because you could have a position where you have a chance to take over the initiative, to seize the initiative, however you want to call it. But if you miss that one moment in the game, maybe you will not get a second chance. Chess is sometimes a cruel game, and you have to be extremely precise. Extremely precise. And another moment in the game, when White managed all this, and I'm sure that he was planning this, and he was sure that he has initiative in, just a simple position like this. And here he played a move like g4. I mean, this is really amazing. And this is why I'm recommending Alekhine. He has also some amazingly complicated games, but you should also remember his saying, or his maxim. He said something like this: playing for complications is only justified if you are in lost position or you don't have any plan. If you don't know what to do, then you just play for complications. Alekhine was tremendously strong in those complications. He was probably the best player, at least of his era, in complicated positions. But as you can see here, he just won by simple means. So if you have advantage in simple position, why complicate? Just play a simple chess, but g4 move. If you don't see g4 move, you might not be able to win. Let's say White plays a move like this, and already here it's not the same. Knight f7 is not working, and black could be able to just defend somehow. So that's it. That was first brilliancy, and then we are going quickly to the next one.